Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to totally transform how you talk to your AI coding assistant. Seriously, we're moving way beyond just asking simple questions and getting so-so answers. We're going to unlock its real power and turn it into a genuine partner in your development work. So, have you ever had that feeling, that sinking frustration when your AI pair programmer spits out code that's, I don't know, generic, totally unhelpful, or sometimes just plain wrong? Yeah, if you have, you are definitely not alone. It's a super common thing for developers everywhere. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to level up your entire approach here. We'll start by digging into why most prompts just don't work. Then we'll shift our mindset completely and build up through 3 different levels of technique. We'll cover everything from the basic tricks every developer should know to high-level architect strategies, and finally, how to create a true AI co-developer. All right, first up, the prompting problem. The subtitle says it all, right? When good enough isn't good enough. Because, the real bottleneck in getting awesome results from AI, it's not actually the model. The model is incredibly capable. The problem is usually us. We're just not speaking its language in the most effective way. And this is the absolute core of the problem. So many of us, developers included, get stuck treating AI like it's just a fancy search engine. We ask these vague questions like, hey, why is my code broken? And what do we get back? A surface-level answer, a generic guess, and honestly, a whole lot of wasted time and effort. Okay, so this brings us to our next section, programming with words. And this is all about a major mindset shift. The most crucial point is this. We have to stop just asking the AI questions and start programming it with our words. Think about that. This isn't just a chat. It's an instruction set. And you don't have to take my word for it. Researchers at Vanderbilt University put it perfectly. Prompts are also a form of programming that can customize the outputs and interactions with an LLM. This one insight just reframes the whole thing, doesn't it? Your prompts aren't just questions. They're basically a form of code, a script that tells the large language model, the LLM, exactly how to act, what rules to follow, and how to structure its answer. So once you start thinking of prompts as a kind of programming, a whole new discipline starts to emerge. And that's where we get this idea of prompt patterns. These are like repeatable blueprints, reusable solutions for the common problems you run into when you're working with these AI models. And this slide just illustrates that analogy so well. On one hand, you've got software patterns, things like Singleton or Factory, which gave us a shared high-level language for solving common coding challenges. Well, on the other hand, prompt patterns, like the persona pattern or flipped interaction, do the exact same thing, but for talking to an AI. Okay, let's get practical. We're moving into our first level, the developer's playbook. These are the foundational techniques. This is where you're going to see immediate, real improvements in your day-to-day work. Wow. Okay, look at this. This slide just shows the massive difference that context makes. On the left, you have this really poor prompt, right? Why isn't my function working? The AI can only take a wild guess. But on the right, the prompt gives it everything it needs to actually solve the problem. And the result? A precise diagnosis and a fix that actually works. So why does that improved prompt work so well? It's simple, really. It succeeds because you're treating the AI like a smart human collaborator. I mean, think about it. You'd never ask a teammate to fix a bug without showing them the code or telling them the error message, would you? Of course not. You give them the language, what you want it to do, the error, the code itself. You're setting the stage for success. All right, time to level up again. We're moving from just fixing a few lines of code to making big, strategic decisions. This is where software architects operate, and it requires a totally different way of prompting. See, the goal here isn't to get a quick code snippet. The goal is clarity. It's about thinking through complex problems. Architects need to explore different options, weigh the pros and cons of each, and document why they made a certain decision. And that means you need prompts that force the AI to use structured reasoning, not just spit out a quick answer. Here's a great example. You can use what's called the persona pattern. You literally tell the AI to act like an experienced software architect. And then you give it a very specific structured task, like generating an architecture decision record or an ADR. You're not just asking for its opinion anymore. You're demanding professional-grade documentation. And check this out. By demanding a structured format like this markdown table, you're actually forcing the AI to organize its thoughts in a logical way. It has to think about the problem, the decision, the alternatives it considered, and the consequences of that choice. What you get back is a clear, reusable document that's super valuable for your whole team. All right, now for the real next level stuff. So far, the AI only knows what you tell it right there in the prompt, but what if it could know about your specific project? I'm talking about your code base, your internal documentation, your team's unique coding standards. What then? Well, that's exactly where Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, comes in. And honestly, RAG is a total game changer. It's the technique that bridges the gap between the AI's general knowledge and your project's specific information. It makes the AI's suggestions not just technically correct, but actually aligned with how your team really works. And the way it works is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's a three-step process. First, the system retrieves relevant info from your project's knowledge base, your code, your docs. Next, it augments your prompt, adding all that juicy context. And only then does the LLM generate its answer, an answer that is now grounded in the reality of your project. And the benefits of this are just huge. I mean, first off, it massively increases accuracy and cuts down on those AI hallucinations, where it just makes stuff up. It makes sure the AI is actually following your team's coding practices. And get this, it can even cite the internal documents it used to come up with its answer so you can go and double check its work. Okay, let's bring all of this together now and take a look at the big picture. We've really moved from being a simple user to becoming a sophisticated collaborator with our AI. So here are the key takeaways. You've got to think like a programmer. Your prompts are instructions. Context is everything. Give it the code, the errors, the goals. Structure your demands. Ask for tables and specific formats. And level up your toolkit from just debugging to architecting conversations with RAG. The future of software development isn't just about using AI, it's about consciously architecting an intelligent conversation with it. Your AI assistant is this incredibly powerful but very literal collaborator. So the question is, how will you engineer your next conversation? Because at the end of the day, effective prompt engineering is the skill that turns a generic tool into a true personalized code developer. It's the difference between asking a simple question and giving a clear command.